Hello, it's Pam, not done yet. And it's the 18th in the evening. I guess it's Ash Wednesday, the first day of Lent. And I don't observe Lent personally as a religious uh, time, but I decided to do something special for myself for Lent this year, just because it's a period of time that I could set aside for something special. And the special thing I decided was to go back to something that I've done before, which is recording things that I am thankful for, that I want to welcome gratitude for. And before, when I did this, I did it 3 things every morning that I was thankful for. And I'm going to do that, and then 3 things before I go to sleep at night that I'm thankful for. And I started yesterday, so our first segment is yesterday's, but it's today. I'm a little goofy sometimes, as you well know. At any rate, the first thing I was thankful for and wrote in my journal was for Jack, my dog, who was keeping my toes toasty warm. He was on top of the blanket, but he was snuggled with me there in bed. And it was lovely. And also yesterday, a little bit different than now, which is pouring down snow, but yesterday morning, the sun, it was sunny, but it was a light sun. It was airy and soft, and it was really beautiful sunshine out my window. And the third thing that I was thankful for was coffee, because I had had my last cataract surgery the day before, which I also was thankful for, but having to forego coffee and getting home later in the afternoon and didn't want to drink it then. I was so happy to have my coffee yesterday morning. I mean, that was my 3 thank yous, my 3 gratitude. And then last night, the day was wonderful. At the optometrist or the ophthalmologist, I ran into a woman. Well, I was sitting in the waiting room waiting for my post-op, and this woman comes bouncing over to me, a woman with gray hair, and she said, "I hate to bother you, but I just have to tell you I love your hair. I just love your hair. I love the color. I love the curls." She said, "I love how natural it looks, and I bet you don't have to do anything to it." And I said, "Yeah, I do love my hair, and yeah, I don't hardly ever do anything to it." And I loved that she came and told me that. It made my day. And then I commented on her. She has, all of her hair is this beautiful silver. I have sort of the mousy gray in the back, but I have at least this silver in the front, and she's all just this pure silver color. And she said that her hair changed color when she was quite young, and people thought she should dye it, but it was such a beautiful color she didn't want to do it, and I certainly could see why. And we chatted quite a bit. I told her about Not Done Yet, and it was a lovely opportunity to visit with someone and learn about a little bit about them. I also did share a lot about me, and no surprise, I have a YouTube channel. But there also was a gentleman in the waiting room. It was just a few of us left because it was close to lunchtime. And after the woman I'd been chatting with left, he came to ask me a question about Washington State because he had heard me say that I had lived there. And we had a lovely chat also. And he had hopped around the United States and living in many different places, and is now trying to decide where he will go next, and maybe for the last move. I think he was in his mid-50s. And we shared some thoughts about how hard it can be sometimes to make connections in Minnesota, that it's a wonderful place. And but also, as people who've moved around a lot and lived in different environments, Minnesota is one, in some ways, for a new person, a bit of a challenge. And it was really nice, I think, for both of us to find someone who understood the moving around, because not everyone can even really think, why would you do that if you didn't have to? And and we could share our lamenting a little bit about what was challenging in Minnesota. And so that was a great, I have great gratitude for both those people that I met at the ophthalmologist office. They made my day. And the last thing I was the most thankful for, last night I had a real problem with my vision. I saw this thing came into my eye, into my awareness. And I think ultimately it was something to do with a very brief power outage and the way the lights came on or where I was at the time. It caused this image, which with some calmness and sitting and turning off the lights, it went away. And by the time I was saying goodnight to Jack and ready to turn out the light, I was convinced I would not die from a brain bleed. I decided it was cataract related and bright light related. And I was so glad about that, to be able to go to sleep and not be worried. So that's what I got. And I think that sharing gratitude, welcoming gratitude into my life in a very concrete way like this is going to help me continue to feel more positive and very connected, not only with my inner self, but with others as well. And it was such a beautiful way to start that yesterday with those folks at the ophthalmologist. I hope you'll leave your gratitudes in the comments if you care to. And I'm sure I'll learn a lot from all of you. So we're on this journey together. Thanks very much.